guys, and welcome to another episode of Subtrending. My name is Jessica, and today we have on the show Toni, who we haven't had in a while, so this is a really exciting day.
I'm very excited to be here.
Yay. What's been going on lately?
Not a whole lot in my world, mostly house remodeling, but
Yeah.
It's life.
Have you been watching any new shows, playing any new games?
I've been watching old shows. I've been catching up on Star Trek.
Nice.
I am halfway through DS9 right now.
All right. Very nice. So the way that we do it, because you actually haven't been on the show before since doing some updates and stuff to it. And for those of you who are watching who may not have seen previous episodes, we have this nice new box that's going to be in the upper corner. We'll be showing you all of the trailers and latest footage from the things that we're talking about. And we have 2 minutes per each topic, so we can keep things fast, get you the news ASAP. So, are you ready to begin?
I suppose so.
All right. I know it's a lot of information.
It is a lot of information. I hope I do well. I have some
sure
performance anxiety.
You will do amazing. It'll be perfect. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to talk about is Pokemon. Start off nice and easy. So you and I both play Pokemon Go.
Right.
And Niantic is the company that created Pokemon Go. A lot of people think that it is actually the Pokemon company, Nintendo, who made it, but it actually is this company, Niantic, who has done a lot. They worked with Google Maps, they worked with Ingress. So they're the developers, and they've had a lot of issues and customer complaints thrown at them lately. So much that they took down their reviews from the site. Or not from the site, but from the Google Play Store. They don't have reviews on there anymore. They're getting threats from fans. And then just recently, the people broke in, I guess, and took some legendary Pokemon, and they took it back. And that's also causing people to be upset. So I guess let's go ahead. Let's begin. We'll talk about it.
All right. Well, first of all, the updates that broke the game, I'm not horribly upset about, but I know a lot of people are very frustrated by them. When the tracker broke initially and it was just 3 footsteps all the time, I was kind of okay with it still, but then by taking the footsteps completely away, it kind of they were shrugging and it's not really a problem. We'll just pretend that that's not a thing and then move on.
Yeah.
And then still releasing it to a bunch of other companies. Obviously, I can see why people are frustrated with that. Mm-hmm. But as far as taking legendaries away from people who are cheating and breaking the game, of course they were going to do that. You should probably be glad you're not banned.
That's exactly what I thought too. I was like, I don't understand why people are upset about this. Because there are people, even people at work who are I don't know. I feel like it's wrong that they took them away. And I'm like, I feel like it's wrong that you broke the game. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm with you on that one.
Right. If you're going to cheat, except that you're also you have to accept that you're going to get caught and something's going to happen to you.
Yeah.
And if you don't get caught, sure, you're a lucky cheater, but you still are a cheater.
For sure. I completely agree. And you know what's funny is I don't even understand why at this point you would want the legendary Pokemon. I mean, it's really cool, but at the same time, you're taking away all the competitiveness. You know what I mean? The gyms, you're just going to go in there with your Articuno. Yeah, guess what? You're one in however many million people play this game who has one.
Right. So and that gym got taken down within a day anyway by other players. So it's not like it was a huge game-breaking thing to cheat and get yourself anyway.
Yeah. What do you think about Pokevision? I guess they got a notice from Niantic to take Pokevision down, which was the site that allowed users to go on there and say basically where nests were of Pokemon that were spawning.
They probably could have gone about it more gracefully, but I understand why they shut down the tracker. Because every time somebody searched on that, and there were 11 million people using it at any given time, pinging the servers, probably twice, because they were probably on Pokemon Go at the same time as they were checking on Pokevision. So I can see how that would have been horrible for their server load, but they should have been a little bit more we're going to shut down Pokevision. Here is our reason for doing it, not 2 days later releasing a statement about it.
Definitely. Completely agree with you. And we are out of time. We're a little bit over time, actually. But no, I completely agree with you on that one. And we actually have a little bit more Pokemon noise. I guess that's kind of what it is, right?
Pokemon noise.
That we're going to go into as well. And that's about the new game is coming up, Sun and Moon. And the Pokemon, the region that they're going to be going to in that game is Alola, is I guess how you would say it. Kind of looks like Aloha, but with another L in there. So Alola. And there are really cool things that they're doing, I think, with the Pokemon that are coming out. So we're returning to some of the old classics, like Vulpix, Ninetales, Executor, Sandshrew, but we're seeing different versions of them. So instead, of Vulpix and Ninetales being fire Pokemon, they are now ice versions. And Sandshrew, instead of normal, is now ice also.
He's normal ground.
Yeah, normal ground. Okay. But yeah, so I don't know. Let's go ahead. We'll start the timer and talk about the Pokemon. I think it's really cool.
I agree. I think in a real world where animals evolve, that in different regions there would be different versions of very similar types of animals. So the fact that if they grew up in an icy environment, but it was like a Vulpix had like migrated over the years and slowly evolved, and it would become an ice type in that area. I feel like that makes complete sense. Also, it's adorable, so like why cry about something that's awesome? So
no, I had the same thought. I was like, this is so cool because we live in a world where evolution is a very real thing. We have different versions of the same animal essentially, and Pokemon are in essence animals in that world. So it makes complete sense to me why that would occur, especially with Executor. They actually said that like the more exposed to the sun he is, the more he grows.
Which makes sense because he's a plant.
Exactly. And I was like, that's a brilliant way of doing it. The only thing I'm a little bit confused on is how he became a dragon.
Right. Well, the more sun you're exposed to, you eventually become Khaleesi, and
see, that makes sense. Yeah. They need you on the writing team, like backing that up, because I get that now. Okay. That's much clearer. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's cool. I'm kind of hoping there'll be more. Oh, you know what? Another thing I'm confused about too. So this is taking place on islands. So you think tropical, so why are there ice Pokemon taking a surge? You know what I mean?
We think of islands as tropical because Hawaii is part of our country, but Japan, the northern island, is icy and mountainous. So I'm sure that's why. I'm sure that the islands span a geographical range, much like Japan does.
That makes complete sense. Once again, Toni just needs to be on the show forever. But yeah, no, that's cool. And I think that because you're probably gonna have like a little ferry, I would imagine, that would take you island to island. There's gonna be different types, different gym. That's really cool. And it would almost be cool if there were different versions of the same Pokemon on different islands, even.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I really hope they do that. Cool. That would be best. That would be good. Good times. Okay.
All right, and we are all out of time, but that's all right because we will move on to our next topic once I see what that next topic is. Okay, so let's go ahead. We're gonna stick to video game news for a little bit longer, and we are going to talk about No Man's Sky. Which comes out this coming Tuesday. Yay! Everybody I know is so incredibly excited for this.
Oh, it's like what Spore promised to be all those years ago.
I know. Oh, man. Except I
still love Spore, and I still play it. So
I love Spore, too. And I love making phallic-shaped monsters.
Oh, God, yes. All the time.
But no, it's I'm really excited for this. I think that it has a lot of potential to be extremely cool. But some companies, fellow reporting companies, are doing some not cool things involving the game. So, as you know, there's usually an embargo on like not movie trailers, but like movie reviews, game reviews, footage being leaked. And a reporter from Kotaku and a reporter from Polygon both have released. Oh, sorry. I'm going to go ahead and turn that down. Both have released footage from No Man's Sky before the embargo has been lifted. So they're basically breaking the rules set by the company and doing this early to be like, hey, fans, look, you can check this out. And you actually have the developer of like Hello Games of No Man's Sky being like, hey, you guys are showing people an inherently broken game because there's a day one patch that fixes a lot of issues. So I don't know. Let's go ahead. We'll talk about this.
All right. Well, I haven't actually watched any of the reviews or the videos that they've been putting out because I usually don't. Whenever I'm playing a video game, I want to actually play the game and not watch somebody else play the game, which is, I mean, it's all you. But I really understand why they would be mad about that because they've announced for a couple weeks now that there's going to be a day one patch. And so they knew that there were going to be things broken and that they shouldn't be showing it to their fans. So I don't know why they suddenly thought it's okay because they've never done that before. They've never decided to break an embargo like that. So I don't see where the disconnect is. I don't know why they would just decide that, hey, we're going to do it. And I know this game was delayed. I don't even know how many times, for how long. And there was a lot of hype behind it, a lot of a buildup, I guess. So I guess, realistic, like they just want fans to be like, here's some content. We finally have content. We finally have something to show you for this that you've been waiting for so long. But it's just unfortunate when the content that they're sharing with you
is something the developer doesn't want you to do, and is also, like I said, inherently broken.
Well, and the agreement when you get a game early from a developer like that is that you're not going to do that. Like that you're gonna you're gonna play it and like put together maybe an introduction guide for your fans on the day one release and all that stuff. But they it's in the agreement that you're not going to share that prematurely with the audience. That, I don't know.
And I wonder if honestly, Polygon and Kotaku are such big name companies and they always get these games early, they're like IGN or any of the others, but it makes me wonder, will there be consequences for it? Who knows?
And especially against a small developer, because I mean, they're new. Hello Games is new, so they don't have the big wall up, they're not Bethesda. They can't do anything massive to anybody else. Yeah, and that's part of the thing that sucks too, is because they are this new little company. I mean, they're extremely little. This team that was working on that game, all fit in one photo. Yeah, you know what I mean? It start out with 9 people in their first picture. That is insane.
But I guess we'll go ahead and wrap. We're a little over on time, and we'll move on to the next topic. All right, so this week the video game news just keeps on coming. So I know last week we had we were going over some of the stuff at San Diego Comic-Con. So we had a lot of movie news, and it was very heavy on that. This week, so much video game news. The next thing that we're going to talk about is actually the NX. So a little bit more Nintendo stuff. So the NX is going to be released next year, early next year, in the spring. And they made a promise in the last couple days that there will be a Mario game, a Pokemon game, and Zelda Breath of the Wild, which we've already known about, available on the NX within 6 months of its release. Let's talk about it.
Okay. Well, I think as far as release titles, I know that they promised that they'd have those out within 6 months of the release, but because they've been struggling so much as a company, I really feel like it should have been a closer launch. They should be launch titles or titles that come out within a month of launch, whenever people are still heated and excited about buying a new console. If they are excited, I don't know if anyone's actually excited, but
definitely Breath of the Wild too, because the thing that makes me so upset about Breath of the Wild is, okay, it is coming out on Wii U, but it's built for the NX, so therefore on the Wii U it's gonna look worse. It's not gonna run as well, you know what I mean? There are all of these things, and it's frustrating because the Wii U was promised to have a new Zelda game on it. And so now they're doing the same thing with the NX. They're okay, we're going to have these 3 big titles, our big name games, and they're all going to be available within 6 months. And it's I really hope you guys deliver on your promise, because you guys didn't last time.
I know. The Wii U just was full of just so much. I never even bought one because they never gave me a good reason to actually buy one. You guys have one, and I'll visit you guys and play it, but otherwise I don't feel like I'm missing anything.
There are fun titles on it. Should I have bought it? Probably not, actually, is kind of how I feel about it. I would have just waited and bought the NX next year. And it's upsetting. So I guess for me, I agree with you. I feel like they should have been no, we're going to set them as launch titles, or at least a couple of those as launch titles or within the month. But I'm almost at the point where I'm should they have even said 6 months? Should they have said a year? Because I don't really trust them to have it done.
Or should they have just not said anything and let it be a big surprise when it came out?
That's
honestly at this point, that's what they need to jumpstart their company, because they're just so every time they say they're going to do something, they back out of it. That's been a routine thing every single game they've come out with lately.
And that's honestly a theme that I feel with most game developers at this point. Stop saying you're going to have stuff done when you're not going to have it done. It's just the most disappointing thing to fans. Surprise us rather than disappoint us. Right. Is kind of how I feel about it. You know what I mean? So, but that is that. We're going to move on to our next thing. More video game news. Overwatch, which I have recently developed this fiendish, grotesque love for. It's disturbing. I love it. And so it was really exciting for me, a couple days into me starting this game, that the whole Summer Olympics thing happened. And so Overwatch for the Summer Olympics is giving all new skins that you can get in their loot crates when you level up. They have new games that I'm guessing are going to be changing. Right now they have Lucio Ball, which is essentially kind of Rocket League, but you play it with one of the characters in the game, and you actually kick a soccer ball around, and everybody has to play as the same character. And they've always had these weird tournaments and stuff like that, where you have a certain selection of characters you have to pick, but it's kind of an interesting way of doing it. So we'll go ahead and talk about it.
Okay. Well, I actually haven't been able to play Overwatch since the beta, because I bought a house and started remodeling it. So that hasn't been a thing for me. But like watching all the stuff about it makes me really excited for what they're doing with the game. Because personally, I'm not much of a shooter or a competitive player, and I feel like they're adding a whole bunch of new dimensions that make me, as not their target audience, want to play it. Like it looks like a lot of fun, and if I felt like I could drop the money on it right now, I would definitely do it. Like it looks like they're doing a lot of good things, and I think that integrating the Summer Olympics was a great move for them. Even though the Summer Olympics themselves are a wee bit sketchy right now. Yeah. So I think that's a fun idea. I think it's great, and they seem to be continuously delivering for their audience.
And one of the things that I love about Overwatch so much is that the way the game is essentially set up is you have an organization that spans different countries. So you have somebody who's from South Africa. You have a girl from North Korea or South Korea. You have people from Japan. You have somebody from China. You have somebody from the United States, and somebody from Mexico. And these are all places where this game is incredibly popular. And by doing the Summer Olympics thing, you allow people to kind of support their nationality, have a little bit of patriotism in their play, nothing crazy, but it's fun, just the fact that they included all this to begin with was really fun, because you do have so many people from Japan and South Korea who do play these games, and I feel like you get so many characters that are very westernized. Right. And for them to be like, no, we're going to have these characters that are just all very much rooted in this culture, it's awesome. And then now they get these awesome outfits where they can support their, they have their flags on there somehow, and they're supporting. It's really cool. I'm very into it.
Also, with you saying that, it just made me think of how ridiculously stereotypical McCree is. It makes me really happy.
I love McCree. He's my favorite character, and he literally wears an American flag now. And it's great. It's ridiculous. So that's that. We're all out of time on that, and we're going to move to some television show news. And this, I think, will excite you like no other, because you've probably heard of it. But yeah, ABC possibly making a Star Wars television show. Yes. So I can see your face is lighting up. I'm really excited for it too, and let's go ahead and talk about it.
Well, Star Wars is my favorite thing ever. I celebrate the 4th of July every year, where I marathon Star Wars movies while shooting off explosives. So that's my favorite thing to do in the world. And plus, I watch all of the movies repeatedly every year, at least 4 times. Yeah. So, it's a big deal. It's a big deal to me. I'm very excited. I really, I'm a little cautious about ABC being the ones to pick it up. Yeah. But as long as I feel Lucasfilm keeps its hands on Star Wars and makes sure that they don't do anything too wacky with it, it should be okay, maybe.
Well, it's just because ABC has turned into this gelatinous blob that just absorbs other companies. Come here. Well, actually, I guess Disney.
Well, because it's Disney that owns ABC,
so and Disney is going to take Marvel, going to take ABC, and just has its hands in everything. So it's kind of cool because ABC is a very good method for getting out these shows that are Marvel shows or Disney shows, or which Disney now is Star Wars. So I don't know. It's cool. But I do agree, because what we've seen with the Marvel television shows, and we're kind of talking about this outside a little bit, is that they're doing so much better on Netflix. It almost makes you think streaming services are the way to go, because look at Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. versus Daredevil, Jessica Jones, all that stuff. You know what I mean? The quality is just so vastly different.
Well, and I know that Netflix has some trouble picking up some of those properties because of copyright law and various trademarks that they can't take over because of different agreements with other companies that Star Wars and Marvel have made with other companies already. I know Agent Carter, Netflix couldn't pick it up because they had some kind of controversy with an agreement there. Makes sense. It's possible maybe that they couldn't. I don't know. That's just pure speculation. But I think that ABC at least has the night. They already have the studio in Disney World. They have all the money that they need to make good special effects, and I think that they can do it as long as they hire good writers.
Mm-hmm. Completely agreed. And now we are officially out of time right now, but I have one more question for you. If they do make this Star Wars television show, what do you want it to be about? Because they haven't really said what the content's going to be.
I really feel like the best way to go with a Star Wars show is kind of like the extended universe books. It needs to be something side story, maybe about the Jedi Council of the Old Republic, or maybe they need to go something with like just talking about the rebels and like stuff going on with the rebels and the rebellion.
So kind of like how Rogue One is doing for movies.
Kind of like Rogue One, yeah, or the Aftermath book that the second one just came out. Stuff like that, where it's about like a side story that augments what's going on in the universe, but it's not like it doesn't have any of the main characters in it so much.
Well, would have been interesting too, and like I said, I know we're over time, but just this is a cool topic. Is they do have these Han Solo spin-off movies, and they do have like Rogue One coming out. So I wonder like what makes the difference between them saying we're going to do a movie series or have a spin-off movie versus we're going to do a television show.
It could also be that they're testing the waters with Rogue One to see if Rogue One does very well, and if it doesn't, maybe they'll switch to doing it like mini-series style. Because that could be an ideal way to produce that type of show. Yeah, because
they have the capital to try.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So maybe, I think that's probably a good point. And so we have one more topic. And this is about Death Note. So we both have watched all of Death Note. Fantastic show. It's an anime. It's available on Netflix still. Yeah, you should watch it if you haven't. So Willem Dafoe, who we know as, he's been in tons of stuff. The first thing I can think of, though, is Green Goblin from Spider-Man. Like, that's just what comes into my mind. Iconic. And it's kind of cool that, that he has had that role because he's going to be playing a demented sort of character here.
Right.
So he's going to be playing Ryuk, who's the Shinigami in Death Note. I haven't watched Death Note in a long time, so I don't remember how they pronounce it, but it's like Ryuk. Yeah, and he's going to be playing that, which is really cool. Let's go ahead and talk about that.
Well, I like him in general as an actor. Like, he really has some great chops. And Ryuk is just such a fun character. Like, he is like chaos embodied. And I feel like William Dafoe will really bring that to the table. Like, and he, like, as we knew with Green Goblin, he looks good with the full face makeup. Yeah. Like, he's got great, like, strong facial features to attach those prosthetics. Well, and he has, like, Ryuk has, like, that long chin and the high cheekbones, so it'll be really easy to augment those things on him, and I think it'll be good.
I think so too. I'm excited for the live action movie, honestly. Like, I know that they did one a long time ago.
They did.
And it was like a Japanese version of it. But that was Bowie, the cat, off camera. But it's adorable. So, but no, I am really excited because I think it'll be cool to have like a slightly higher budget, do a little bit more with it. Because honestly, it's just one of those things. It's an anime. And I know that anime sometimes get a bad rap about convoluted stories and just craziness and all of that stuff, but it really has a great story. It's like Full Metal Alchemist in the way that it's just so engaging, and I think that people who don't even like anime can get into it.
I definitely think that's... Well, okay. I really think that's true, but also it is a very weird premise at first, so if you're like really cautious about anime, that's maybe not... Don't start there. Don't do it. So...
Yeah, it's very much a story about morality. Yeah, I don't know. It's a cool story. Like I said, I would really recommend it for people who want to get in on it or want to get in on anime. I don't know. Still have 30 seconds left.
Yeah, it looks like it lapped. I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know what happened.
All right. Well, we can just go ahead and wrap up then. I want to thank Toni once again for being on the show, gracing us all with her lovely presence and her vast knowledge of Pokemon and space.
What a knowledge.
But yeah, so you be sure to check us out at subtrendy.com. We have articles posted up every single day, pretty much. We have a review up for Suicide Squad that we just got from our contributor Josh Kretz. That's pretty interesting. Be sure to read that. And then go ahead and subscribe to us on YouTube if you like what you see. Check us out on Facebook and Twitter. And we will see you guys next week.